today we have a topic self-organizing map, and it is also known as the SOM in SOM. Let me start this concept by the very beginning term over here. We have the two important terms and that are required to keep in mind properly. Self-organizing map. As I told you very beginning, this topic will be completely followed by the theoretical, and we will see what is the purpose of using the self-organizing map. Okay, so we will start this concept by the its definition. That is, we have over here a self-organizing map, or we can say the SOM or self-organizing feature map, the type of the artificial neural network. And as we know, what is mean by the artificial neural network, and in the artificial neural network, we have seen and we have covered the some important part that is known as the architecture of the neural network. And in the architecture of the neural network, we have seen the biological neural network and artificial neural network. If you remember, then we have seen the concept of between or differentiate between the ANN or the biological neural network. So we have covered fundamental part of basic part of the neural network, so we can understand self-organizing map in simple way. So why it is known as a self-organizing feature map? Because we have some inputs. So all the inputs are treated as a feature. So that's why its name is also understood by the or recognized by the self-organizing feature map, or we can say SOFM. Okay. So after this point, just we need to understand what is the thing we need to care properly. And the point you need to keep in mind over here, if you're talking about the self-organizing map, so that is a train using the unsupervised learning. So what is mean by the train unsupervised learning model? Definitely, we need to keep in mind properly. Yes, we need to keep in mind properly that is a train using the unsupervised learning. So as we know, in supervised learning, we know what is the pattern we need to follow, guided pattern. But here we are using some features and we don't know how many hidden layers we have and how those hidden layers will communicate properly to each other. So that is the parameter we need to keep in mind. But suppose we have the fully interconnected neural network, so each and every hidden node will be connected to the its respectively other hidden nodes and input and well as the output. So that is the complexity we have over here. But we don't have, suppose we don't have the fully connected. So there is no guarantee that each and every node will be connected to its next node or previous node. So there is no guarantee, but here we're talking about the complexity we can have. And from this complexity, we can see or we can determine we are talking about the dimensionality in high pattern. Dimensionally high pattern means each and every node connected to the each and every hidden node. So if I'm representing such connection into the array manner or some vectorization manner, so definitely what we have the huge number of the vectors because each and every information connected. But what we are observing over here, we need to use minimum or low dimensionality to maintain our concept properly. Because you are having the dimensionality, so you are just following the high complexity, and then you have the high complexity, so your model will be too complex. So the purpose of the self-organizing map to train the data or train the features what you have by using the low dimensionality. And the low dimensionality, we can say typically we will follow two-dimensional pattern. And the representation will be done by the self-organizing map into the discrete representation of the input space means input features what we have by using a training sample, and the features we are using from the training samples that are known as the map. So how we are mapping our features, and those features will organizing automatically a self pattern that is to be done by the concept that is we have the self organizing map. This map or this concept we're talking about over here totally belong to the concept of technique that can be applied to the neural network for the self-organizing map following by the its features. And the purpose or the aim of the or the objective of using the self-organizing map to reduce the dimensional reduction. What do you mean by the dimensional reduction? I will tell you, but before tell me more about the dimensional reduction, just let me clear the concept about the self-organizing map once again. Self-organizing map is a technique or method you can understand, and that is to be applicable to the neural network, and that is to be supported by the unsupervised learning, because we don't know which node will be connected inside its other nodes, because we have the huge number of the nodes. Suppose we have a chain we need to follow, but there is no guarantee each and every node will be connected. So we are following implicitly, then we can say we are having the unguided pattern. Okay, that from this pattern we need to represent our information into the minimized dimension or minimization pattern of the dimension, that is known as the low dimension. So if you're having the high dimension, it means you're talking about the high complexity. How you can say how complexity? We will follow the or many competition. So competition will take much time, and then ultimately if we have the maximum computation, then definitely complexity will be high because it takes much time. So time complexity will be enhanced automatically when we have the high dimensionality. From this point on, we need to understand what is mean by the dimensional reduction. So I have written over here in simple way, then you can understand. Dimension reduction is the transformation of the data from the high dimensional space into the low dimensional space. So that low dimensional space retain some meaningful properties of the original data. So suppose I have the three-dimension data, three-dimension or two, four-dimension data. It means I have the huge number of the information. Then what I need to do? If I'm transforming such information into the its low dimension or a two-dimension, as you have seen in our practical session, if you're remembering, whenever we are using the clustering, then the clustering we need to transform two-dimension data set into the one-dimension data set into the Ravel method by using the Ravel method. So what we are doing, we are just trying to reducing the dimensionality. So the complexity of the program we can reduce. Same thing we can see over here in the self-organizing maps. The dimension reduction is required because this helps to minimize the complexity or provide the less computation. So because our information will not be connected with each and every node, it will be connected with only those nodes which are required to be or which are associated with the computation purpose only. That is the point from which we can say we have a self-organizing map, and that is the introductory part right now. So tell me right now, the portion is clear, the concept is clear right now, the introductory part.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, by dimensionality reduction, do you mean reducing the number of features of a data set?
No. If you are reducing number of the features, then what you are doing actually, you are just not retaining the properties of the input space or input features. We need to maintain the input features what we have used, and based on the input features, we are just trying to build the model. Then how you can say you are just reducing the its features? That is not possibility. How you the number of the features you have decided, and based on those features, how you will map your mapping between each and every node in the neural network, and how you are managing that is to be done by the self-organizing map. See, each and every node is not required to connect. So based on some distance, based on some computation, we will choose only those node or those distance which are ready to available or which are associated to as per the required computation. So that is the point. We can't leave, or we can't say input space of the features we can't leave. We have decided five features will be the part of the our this model, so we have to this. We can't reduce the features. If you are reducing features, then what is the sense of using this sector? Yes, it is written
Okay,
over
sir,
here.
got it.
It is written over here so that the low dimension representation retains some meaningful properties of the original data. So we are not leaving anything. We need to keep in mind. Okay, that is the point. So that is the point we need to keep in mind. We can't leave. Yes, that is the important point. So self-organizing map, how they are mapping, how they are functioning internally. That is the beauty of the self-organizing map. See, in the Python programming, I can demonstrate it, but there will be no sense because it just requires a lots of the computation. It takes much time and it has a very long code. And it is not required to tell in more detail about the self-organizing. So, in according to syllabus, we have only the concept. Then, what is the meaning of the self-organizing map and how we can use such concept into our neural network or unsupervised learning approaches whenever we need to do. So this is just introductory part. So that's why I'm just focusing only those part which are required to understand the concept. Yes. Now this point is clear right now. Tell me this point is clear.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. So got it. So let us understand that this concept right now. I will be speaking here once again to all the people. Self-organizing maps differ from the other artificial neural network by, of course, in self-organizing map we have the input layer, we have the two other different layers, but in the artificial neural network we have the input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. And that is the point we need to keep in mind, and each and every input feature will be associated with the its other layer, and that is required to treat it as a competitive learning. So what do you mean by the competitive learning? Competitive learning is saying to us, whenever you have any problem in the artificial neural network, then you have decided the last your output layer just providing the some result, and that result belong to the 90%, but you have decided the actual result should be 95%, but you have predicted output from the neural network that is 90%, so you have the 5% error. So to overcome this problem, what you will do, you just start the back propagation concept to gain these 5% more better way, or the prediction in better way. So backpropagation will be applicable over here along with the its gradient descent. And that approach you will apply, then each and every level you are required to do something proper way. And what you will do, you will do nothing. You just require to only one thing. You just require to update the weight of each and every node. And that is the point we need to keep in mind. So connection, the we have the connection. We have the connection between two different layers node, and these are known as the synaptic in the biological, if you remember. So what we need to achieve the our goal properly, because we are expecting the 95% should be the its accuracy or the result, but we are getting the 90. So we need to achieve, or we need to overcome this, start our problem. That is the concept, that is the back propagation. And from back propagation, when you're visiting its previous node or previous layers node again, so what you are doing, you're touching the its neighbor, and these neighborhoods are required to implemented by the some functions. And definitely in a neural network I will show demonstration properly, so don't worry about that part. And each and every node connected with its property, and following by the topological properties, we can say. If you remember the data structure, in the data structure you have seen the concept topological sorting. So what we have done in the topological sorting, because the concept is inspired from the graph, and we have seen the some nodes are connected, and we need to choose only the part that belong to the topological structure way. And of course, from that from this part, from the that part, we have to apply the concept over here. So in the ANN we have seen this activity, but when talking about self-organizing map, the self-organizing map will do different activity. So what the activity will be managed by the self-organizing map. So here we have a term that is known as the some layer, and that is to be discussed into the detailed description. So before jumping to detailed description or other part, just let me have some more idea about the self-organizing map. So we have seen what is the introductory part about the self-organizing map, and how it is different from the artificial neural network. So that is the point we need to keep in mind. Now, here we have some historical part, so it is not required to go into the much detail, but for your knowledge purpose or for the quiz purpose, you are required to keep in mind all these points properly. See, the artificial neural network introduced by the Finnish professor, the Tuomo Kohonen, and from this pattern, the from the pattern or the from the base or inspired from the artificial neural network, we have to implement our problem. We have to understand the problem that is known as the self-organizing map. And this artificial neural network we are discussing, that is also known as the Conan map or network. So when we discuss the Conan network or Conan map, it means we are talking about the artificial neural network. And mostly the SOM, or that is the self-organizing map, especially used to visualize your information properly from the low dimensional view, and that is the required part. So with the help of the an example, I will show the my proof over here, so don't worry about that part. See, this is the example as I told you. So you can see over here we have the input vector x1, x2, x2 up to so on xn, and wij, what are the its respectively weight. And you can see if I'm looking for the its hidden layer, finally at the output layer, so there may be multiple hidden layer. Okay, and there may be the one, more than one output layer, so no issue. But by the SOM, by the self-organizing map, I will see the my information on the 2D plane. Then you can see the representation of the x, y, and x and y axis. I can see like this one. So the complexity I can reduce by the self-organizing map, but when we have the huge number of the pattern, when we have the huge number of the pattern, then how we can manage it? So you can just understand because you have seen the fundamental part properly. So I'm just taking the different color so you can see properly. You can see here we have the this point. Okay, I'm just plotting by the black color. Then you can see this node we are selecting as a randomness, and then along with this point and along with this point, we can see it's this node is connected with the, some other nodes that are plotted by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and these points are belong to the these nodes belong to the different color. So we need to keep in mind that it's we need to calculate some distance. And what is distance? That is equivalent distance. And this equivalent distance we will choose over here. And we have also discussed the equivalent distance formula in the KNN. If you remember KNN, K means okay, and K means so we have seen this concept properly. And from this level, from the our 2D plane, you can see this node is connected with this one. So we need to calculate distance. See, you can see over here, this is making a can we say this is making cluster? And it is also making a cluster of different colors. And then we are making the cluster. So we are treated as a concept over here as a clustering. So sometimes self-organizing map is a representation from the cluster, and from the cluster we need to choose any random node, and from the random node we need to determine the what is the minimum distance we are having. So how we can calculate distance by the help of the equivalent distance formula, and that is the point you need to keep in mind. So representation of the self-organizing map will be look like this one rather than the input layer, hidden layer, and output layer, and there may be multiple hidden layers. Okay, so that is a complexity we can say. But this entire process will be transformed into the 2D plane. See, this belong to the suppose we have the one input. So here we have the one input vector, but suppose we have the n number of the hidden vector. So of course, with respect to these one, we have to follow the n vector, and that vectors will contain some information following by the input and output layers, of course. And suppose the one hidden layer is connected with the other hidden layer, so it contains some information towards the another hidden layer. So the complexity at each and every level will be enhanced. So we need to reduce that part, and that is known as the dimensional reduction. And very frankly speaking, dimensional reduction can be reduced by the one important approach that is known as the PCA. PCA stands for the principal component analysis. And that part we will see, of course, following by the Gaussian mixture model. Of course, we will see detailed manner, no issue. So when we discuss the more detail about the dimensional reduction, so that will be covered by the practical, of course, following by the PC. So we will cover into the principal component analysis. But we need to keep in mind all those points by the fundamental part. So here we are discussing about the self-organizing map. So you can see each and every information is mapped properly. Now, from this point, I can show the my proof over here. If can be if we extend this one, I if I'm plotting this point right now, this one, okay, 1, 2, 3. These are the my 9. These are the not 9. These are the my 8 nodes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I can explain this one just like this one. Yes. See, x1, x2, x2, x1. Can I write like this one? X1, x2, and so on. So xn. Can I write like this one? Say, can I write like this one? From this diagram, can I write like this one? Just tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if I choose blue color nodes, then I can take like this one. Suppose I'm taking a blue color node that belong to the hidden layer. Suppose blue color nodes I'm choosing over here. Okay, can I take like this one, blue color nodes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this one I'm choosing like the blue color. Okay, this is my blue color nodes. Okay, so we have the n number of the blue color nodes. So I'm not counting this portion right now. Can I take the this purple color nodes as another hidden layer? Okay, so purple color. Okay, next one, we have the 1, 2, 3, just reddish color. We have the 8s. Here we can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 nodes. Okay. Now we have the one nodes. We are getting the output definitely, and that will be represented by the. I can say that. So this would be your another hidden layer 2, hidden layer 1, hidden layer 3, and this would be your output layer. This would be your input layer. Okay, that is the portion I have mentioned over here. Now this will be connected. This will be input layer, and we have the. So this will be connected by this one. This will be connected by this one. Yes, and this will be connected by this one like this. And this will be connected by these 8 nodes. Okay, so this is the red, and this will be connected by this one, this one. So from the neural network, what we are doing right now, you can observe over here, we are transforming. We are transforming our this portion till output layer, okay, into 2D manner, in the 2D manner or 2 dimension. And if you remember what is mean by wij, so you can understand these are the wij, okay, because these weights will be not connected by the only the one nodes to connect with the many nodes, so we have the wij. So this is a transformation that is to be managed by the self-organizing map, and we can introduce the dimensionality with the self-organizing map. That is a required portion. Now this portion is clear. How we are understanding this point, this diagram, how we are transforming such diagram into the XY plane. We are transforming this portion into the 2D, that is X and Y plane. That is portion. Because we can represent this all the hidden layers along with the output layer into the various dimension. So if I'm taking each and every hidden layer as a dimension, so here we can represent our information by the 4 dimension, but we are reducing over here, and that is the beauty of the self-organizing map. Now this portion is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. After this point, after understanding this point, so we need to understand what really happens in the zone. That is a self-organizing map. Here we need to keep in mind each and every data point that are associated with our information, and that is to be represented by the competitive representation. But what I am saying it is competitive learning. So you can see from the neural network, we have the input layer, hidden layer, and output layer, and we are not getting the 100% accuracy, or we are not getting the our result toward the actual data as we have decided. Then we need to determine the errors, or what is the percent error we are having, and with respect to the error, we will again apply the backpropagation to check the our weight and update the accuracy. But with help of the same thing we are doing, and that is why the competition we have, the from the self-organizing map, just having the competition with its competitor, that is the artificial neural network. And from this point, we can say we have the competitive learning. So competitive learning basically is a flavor or subtype of the machine learning, which decide that if you try to solve any problem by the many way, then you can solve. So each and every algorithm are belong to the it's competing from each other. Just like example, the classification. We can solve the by the regression, we can solve by the SVM, we can solve by the KNN and other approaches. But I'm choosing the logic regression. So based on its accuracy. So other algorithm becomes as a competitive or competitor for its calculating the accuracy in better way of the maybe classification. So that's why we have the competitive learning implicitly by the machine learning. That is the point we need to keep in mind. From this point, we have to keep in mind what we need to do and what the really happens in the show. So mapping steps towards the start from the initializing the weight vector. So we have started the concept by the what is the weight which are handling by the each and every synapse in the biological. Or here we have the connection, the link. Okay, and from their sample vector, they selected the randomly and map a weight vector. So it's search to find the which weight is best represent that sample. So in sample vector, what we have the collection of the number of the vectors we have. And from the sample vector, we need to choose a random vector, and that vector, each and every vector represented by the its node. If you remember the point, if I need to represent the node value into the array manner or vector manner, then we can represent by the when mathematically we can represent by the vector, because this vector determines what is the input or what is the output of the particular node. So we have the huge number of the vectors, and that sample vector is known as the, or that huge number of the vectors in from that part we can say we have the sample data or sample vector. From that portion, we need to choose a randomly, and we need to start to map with its other node, and we need to take the weight from the weight vector towards the or respective towards the sample vector, and at the last we need to determine what is the minimum value we are having, and that portion is known as a BMU. BMU stands for the best matching unit, and that is the beauty of the best matching unit part, which define that internally. See, internally it is a method or it is a technique which decide that what is the minimum distance you are having from the its connected node. And if you're choosing this part, so we have a small circle, a small portion. From that we can define, we can initialize this portion right now. So each weight vector has a neighboring weight, of course we need to keep in mind, see like this one. So this vector will be connected, this vector is connected with this one. So this purple vector has two neighbors, it's a blue neighbor, and okay, another one is red. So definitely it contains the some distance from the its portion to the its next node and its previous node, so it just keep the information properly. And the point I'm speaking over here, please read carefully. The weight that has been chosen, that is divided by the being able to become the more like that randomly selected sample vector. So what we have selected, we will see. By the example, I will tell you, don't worry. And from the neighbors of the weight, we have decided that is to be divided by as a, it is a best selected. Divided means I'm speaking over here the best selected randomly node, and divided by the being able to become the more likely to choose a sample vector, and this allow the map to grow and from the different shape, and these different shape could be represented by the L shape, rectangular, hexagonal, and L shape. So you can understand like this portion, like this one. Um, this this point I'm selected, this point I'm selected. Here we have like this one. If I'm choosing this one and then I'm choosing the next like this one. So what I'm following the L shape. But suppose these are the two features and these two features are associated like this one. So here we can say here we are selecting any one of the portions. So the connection, the linkage or the diagonal representation panel having associated with the many nodes could be formed by the any objects that could be rectangular, hexagonal or L shape. So here we have the information, but we need to represent our information in the 2D manner only. That is the required point. And from this example, I can explain. But before that, just let me know the fundamental part of the what really happens in the show is clear to all. Yes, tell me right now over here.
Clear, sir.
See, weight vectors means, I'm speaking once again, weight vectors means the distance or the weight which are having. So here Wij is the weight vector. It contains the information from each and every node. This input layer to this hidden layer node we are connecting. So it contains some weight, and that is the distance we can say. Okay. But in the SOM, that to be identified the some equivalent distance formula. Okay. So now Conan self-organizing map is saying to us why Conan, because it is inspired by the artificial neural network. So artificial neural network is also known as the sometimes Conan map or Conan network. So if I'm using that concept to implement the my Conan self-organizing map, then from the slide you can see, and then on the slide you can able to see this portion right now. The fundamental UL algorithm you can see over here. So input we have the x0 to xm, and here we have the many nodes which are plotting like this one. Some of the nodes are connected, some of the nodes are not connected. So over the slide I can show the my proof over here. Please note down. These nodes are connected, but these are not connected. Okay, see these are the, but this is connected. So there is no guarantee each and every node will be connected. And of course, but logically we can say if this is a node, I'm having like this one node, this one node, this one. So this node will be connected by the this one directly, this will be connected by this one directly, but this node will not be connected by this one directly. And these are the cross is showing to over here, these are not connected by directly to this node. And maybe this is a node and which is not connected to the input node. So that is a portion we need to keep in mind. There's no guarantee each and every node will be connected, and if each and every node is connected at each and every layer, so we can say we have the fully connected node. But here there is no guarantee each and every time we will follow the fully connected neural network. So here we are taking the simple example, so please keep in mind. So the connection we have from the input layer to all these nodes, these are connected by the one. These are connected by the only the one node or some of the nodes we can say. Then we can say here at this point we can say rest of the points, rest of the nodes which are not connected, they may belong to the other hidden layer or maybe the not connected. So we can say they may be other hidden layer node or not connected or not connected nodes. So this is from this point we can say, if we are choosing this node, if we are choosing this node as a randomly, so this node we selected by the randomly. That is the point I can write. I'm writing here. This node is selected as a randomly. So from this node to the other nodes, we need to determine the some distance, and that distance can be calculated by the equivalent distance. If you're thinking about the cluster, so if I'm making the cluster or if I'm just defining the, we need to opt only those nodes which are having by the some limited distance. So from this portion, if you're selecting only those nodes which are covering into the specific distance only, then you can say this node is connected by the all these node, and from this point you can say these are making the cluster. And from this point, if I'm making the distance like this one, this one, this one, by using the equivalent distance, if I'm trying to connect all these nodes, and then we need to check what is the minimum distance we are having. So our next step, what will be the next step will be this center node will be associated with its neighbor node, and its step go into the iterative process. So the selected node we have chosen as a randomly, that would be treated as a centered from the k-mean. So if you're thinking of the k-means or k-mode, then you remember that we have to choose the centered. So here I am selecting the first node as a randomly. So what we are having over here, we have the centered of this node, but the centered is not good. But right now we can say we are talking about the from sample vector we have selected the one node, and it contains the some weight, it contains some information, and based on that parameter we need to calculate the distance from its some of the selected node. Okay, and the selected node will be part of the cluster. So I have selected the randomly some nodes, and from that portion we need to decide which node will be associated with its next node. and that is to be determined by the equivalent distance, and that is the beauty of the equivalent distance. You can apply the equivalent distance anywhere or any kind of approaches. Now, read this point right now. Here, I'm taking right now this slide right now for explaining purpose. During the competitive phase of the learning, the equivalent distance between the weight vectors and the features vector are calculated, and each instance of the data is assigned to a neuron whose weight vectors values most resemble its own. So what you are doing from the weight vectors and the features vector, that is input vector, you are required to calculate some distance, and after calculating this point, we need to choose the only the minimum calculate base distance, and that is to be done by, that is to be handled by the our equivalent distance formula. And what is equivalent distance formula? We can see over here. And in terms of the self-organizing map, I have written over here B is equal to the current input vector, and while W is the node's weight vector. Because we are talking about the weight. Why? Because the our concept self-organizing map is totally inspired by the artificial neural network. So that is the point we need to keep in mind. And if we select the best, or we can say the minimum node, that is node is known as the winner node, and that winner node is also known as the best matching node, and that is also represented by the best matching node. So before telling more in detail part right now, so I'm just focusing from theoretical part over here for the betterment, then you can understand. SOM, what we have been observed so far, SOM stands for the self-organizing map, and it is a collection of the processing units that is known as the neuron. You can see each and every node is connected, so these are represented by the neurons, and that is placed in the 1 and 2 dimension array. Now we are not saying, and we can't say SOM supported by the 3 dimension. If you're having 3 dimensions, of what we can say, it is used by the low dimension approach. So that is the point we need to keep in mind. That is not possible. So dimension where all the neurons have weight vector, and that correspond to the point in an n-dimensional feature space. And from the n-dimensional feature space, we are transferring the information to 1 and 2 dimension array, and that is required portion. And the instance of the data is assigned to the processing unit, that is the neuron, whose weight vector is closest to, and training is when the initially randomized weight vectors are adjusted in a way to make the neighboring neurons close to each other, and subsequently assign similar instance of the data to the same neuron by the nearby neurons. So all these are the what? All these are what? All these are the our nodes represented by the neuron. So we need to choose only the closest neuron, and that belongs to the its neighbor node. And we will say we have selected the winner node because it contains the, or it is closest to the our center node, what we have decided, and that is randomly. So we can say, but how we can say we have selected? Based on some distance, based on the some weight. From this portion, we need to keep in mind this point properly. And the result in a combination of the clustering and dimensional reduction. So now what we have done, implicitly what we are doing, we are doing some clustering and dimensional reduction approach, because with this help we are doing those two activities. One belongs to the clustering and another belongs to the dimensionality reduction. And each cluster in the n-dimensional feature space is linked to the processing unit, that is a neuron, and in the 1 and 2 dimension array. So if you again, I'm just moving to this diagram, then you can see on the input space area, or we can say following by the x and y axis, what the node I have selected, that is to be represented by the from the that is represented from the n-dimensional array, and we are transforming the portion from the clustering along with the its dimension reduction approach. So implicitly we are having concept that is known as a self-organizing map. Each and every node are we are mapping. See, very frankly speaking, self-organizing map, what we are doing, we are transforming our n-dimensional information into the 1 2 dimension array maximum. And maximum, why I'm speaking maximum, because you can't take more than 2 dimension array. So at the time you are reducing the its dimensionality. So the term is reducing dimensionality, saying to us dimension reduction. And from the cluster pattern, we are selecting the randomness of the node, and from this node we are just moving ahead to the its next part to follow the our concept, and we are following the self-organizing map. So we are mapping the all the nodes by the concept, and it automatically self-organized by the some approach, and that approach we have the Conon self-organizing map over here. So this is a summary of our part so far we have discussed. Now tell me any doubt you are having right now? Any doubt over here about the theory I have written, I will explain.
No, sir.
So detailed
No, sir.
description. Okay, thank you. The detailed description you need to keep in mind properly. The detailed description is saying to us, as I told you, we have a difference between the KNN and so. What is difference? Input layer we have over here, and input layer the NN we also have. So input layer, a set of the inputs of the n-dimensional features. Of course, we can have any input, no issue. But the weight layer we are required. So weight layer is saying to over here in the detailed description of the SOM, a set of the adjustable weight vectors belonging to the network processing unit. This network processing unit will be managed by the neuron. Please keep in mind. And defining their spatial location in a 1 or 2 dimensional space. So please keep in mind from the weight layer, and what we are doing, we are just trying to adjust our input as what we have pulling by the weight vector into the 2D 1 or 2D dimension space, and that is to be handled by the layer, and that layer is known the weight layer. But in the our neural network, what we have the hidden layer. Okay, and the Conan layers is saying to us a lattice of the processing unit to which the inputs are mapped. So how your inputs are mapping? Suppose we have the n dimensional features, then how we are mapping all the given inputs, and that is to be managed by the Conan layer, and that would be the last layer. And this there will be some approach to select the centroid node, or we can say the center node, that is calling by the randomness, and determine the its closest neighbor. This step will be covered by the weight layer and corner layer. So we have the sub layer, we can say that will be implicitly handled by the weight layer and corner layer. But in the artificial neural network, what we have the input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. So that is the beauty of the neural network. But we are understanding this concept totally inspired by our fundamental neural network, that is the ENN. We're not discussing about any other kind of the neural network. That are so many layers we have. But if you want to apply the self-organizing map into the your different kind of neural network, then you can apply, but there will be no sense. So because each and every different kind of the neural network has own beauty, own advantages and disadvantages. But COSOM is just having the see, as a theoretically we can say it's a very simple concept, but as a practically we need to calculate distance from each and every node to the each and every connected node. And suppose we have the n nodes and m nodes, so we have to do the computation between the m to m nodes. So m to m node, m into m nodes, so there will be huge number of the computation required. So the drawback of the SOM, you can say, the long computation or a hard computation we have over here. So because we have hard computation, long computation, and each and every time we need to calculate distance again. So complexity we are reducing because time is required in much more way. So time complexity will be high by the SOM. That's why SOM is not much popular. So the authors or the scientists, what they did, they have just updated their neural network by choosing the different paradigms. So rather than the more working on the SOM. But see, it is a part of the dead part, and this SOM basically concept which describe the two fundamental networks. One is clustering, other one is neural network. So this is only the point where you can say clustering and neural network can be combined. It can be functionalized when the form the combination. Of course, we can do. This is only the point where we can do. An introductory part of the neural network we have also seen. So we have also seen only those part right now. We are not touching any other part in detail manner. We are touching only those parts which are required to understand the SOM. Now, so it is again theoretically. So the group of the neurons are called the neighborhood. So I already told you. So this neighborhood we can say in the K means cluster. Okay. So if compared to the K means, these neighborhoods are the cluster, and it is written on the last point. And with the binning neuron with the shot of the immovable centroid, so this movable we see the shot of the immovable centroid. Why immovable? Because in the K means the data point can move from one cluster to another cluster, but here nothing is to be movable. What they have adjusted, what they are associated with the respectively nodes, they will connect it with only those nodes, and they can't move, they can't change their connection. Okay, so they have connected, they are associated with that node, the nodes are not able to immovable, not able to movable. So we can say it is a movable. So the center we have decided as a center point or center node we are choosing, that would be the considered as a immovable center. So far we have seen some idea about the SOM, and that is the point we need to keep in mind. Now, this point we have discussed. So why? Because in the competitive learning phase, we have to calculate the distance. So how we can get it and how we can get the distance by the help of the weight vector and the distance between the weight vector and the features vectors. So definitely the values we will opt for calculation purpose. So we will pick the vectors, and from the vectors value we will determine the distance, and from this distance we can say this is the distance of the particular node, because each and every node does not belong to the xy position. We are choosing the information from the its vector information. That is the point we need to keep in mind. So this is the algorithm. Before telling to more detail about the algorithm, just let me know right now from your side. Just can you tell me any doubt you are having, any point you are having?
Sir, can you give a real life example where this is actually used?
Yeah, sir. See, self-organizing map, you're talking about the real application. So we were on the coming to topic. See, just you are asking to me right now, so I'm just focusing on that part first, then you can be able to see. When we have the application, you were talking about the application of the this self-organizing map, and that is applicable where we have the project prioritization and selection. And the most application is we can find over the seismic phasing analysis for the oil and gas exploration. This application you can understand by the simple way I can speak over here. Suppose in a terrain area or in the some other places where we need to find the oil and gas exploration is possible or not. So by the geographical information system, then you can see the image what we have. Suppose we have the plateau area, or we have the greenery area, or we have the icy area. So the color, from the colors pattern we can identify. So by the image contains some whitish or the some white pattern. So we can say this area could be recognized as the icy area. Okay, so we can say here we have the ice. But when we have the green color area, so we can say we have the greenery. So particular plateau area or particular location or particular places are telling to this is the area where we can have the greenery. But when talking about the other part, just like the brown or some radish, so we can say this is the plateau area, or there's a place where we have the field or the place that could be localized as a normal place. So from that portion, if you need to determine the oil and gas exploration, then how we can determine? So seismic phase analysis can be done by the oil and gas exploration. So most of the time, the portion you are looking from the image. So how to extract the data from the image based on its color? So what are the color? Color is the features. Because we are talking about right now the color features, and the green color we have, the white color we have, the brown color we have, or maybe some kind of a little bit black color. So light black color we have. So we can easily find the places. So an image contains the lots of the features, and from the lots of the features, we can easily understand that portion. The beauty of that image is saying to us, if we applying the self-organizing map, then image will tell us this is the place where we have the gas or oil. This is the point. So if you look at the some desert area, okay, so where you can find the all the images contain the only the one kind of the color, that is the brown color. So that is an important point we need to keep in mind. So this is the main application especially. And project prioritization is actually saying to us when we have the some kind of the cluster from the specific kind of the cluster that is following by the training sample. And from the training sample, if you need to give the priority to the your given inputs, so you can opt the data, you can opt your training data from the specific manner, then you can opt without any doubt. But how you can opt, that is a form of the self-organizing. So no other specific method will be applicable over here. See, the beauty of the self-organizing map is just it map the features automatically by selecting some special concept, that is selecting the random purpose of the any node and do some activity, that is the randomness, and then find a distance between the its center node to the its neighbor node, and that is following by the cluster. If you remember the k-means as I told you earlier. This is the portion. Yes, we were on that. If compared to the k-means algorithm, these neighborhood nodes are clusters. And with the binning neurons, why we have the binning neurons? The binning neurons mean we're talking about the random selected nodes, and that would be right now the binning node, and we can move ahead its next part to its calculation purpose. So that's the application. We have lots of application, but see, for due to its highly complexity, so these are not much usable. But we have the applications, of course. So the concept we have in this world, any concept we are having, so in every concept belong to the its own application. Then there will be no sense for understanding the particular concept. Yes, now tell me.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, so if talking about its algorithm, is the algorithm is not a standard algorithm. What we have discussed, that is only a transformation of that part. A node is a weight star initialized. Of course, it is required to initialize the weight by the wij, that is the weight vectors. Okay, that is the first step. Second step is saying to us here, the vector is chosen as a random from the set of the training data. So of course, why random? Because we need to calculate the distance from this center node to centered node to its other node, that is the neighborhood node. And every node examined to calculate the one's weight are most like the input vector. And the winning node is commonly known as the best matching unit, that is the BMU. As I told you, what is mean by the BMU? BMU means a winning node I am choosing, that's the our winning node. Because from the out of the n selected random nodes, if I'm making the I'm calculating distance, and the distance what we have the minimum distance, and that distance we can say it is the closest distance, or we have the data the node which are closest to that part. So like this one I'm demonstrating over here, like this one. Suppose this is I'm choosing as a random node. Okay, and in a particular clusters we have these nodes, these nodes, these nodes, these nodes, of course. Yeah, I'm just selecting like this one. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just need to calculate the S distance. See the distance between each and every node. So what is the distance and how I can distance? Simple formula, by the help of the equivalent distance you can calculate. Equivalent distance calculate you can do, but what the thing is required, it requires the v and w. What do you mean by the v? V is the input vector and w is the weight vector. So this is a node, so this node could be the input for okay, yeah, this if I'm choosing this one, so this node could be the input for this one. So what is the information by which is maintained by this node as a vector? And what is the weight of this point? The distance we are having like this one. So what is the distance we are having in terms of the weight? And that is to be maintained by the weight vector. And from this those two parameter we can calculate distance. So same thing, we will do this activity along with the it's all the connected node. And if we found the equivalent distances we have calculated, let's like this one, I'm just marking over here like this one, x, y, z, w, u, p, and s I'm taking right now. Okay, so from these out of the different values which are to be calculated by the equivalent distance x, y, z, v, u, v, w, z, s, so we will choose only the one value as a minimum distance, or we from this point we can say this closest point. And from this pattern we can say we have the path. So from this point from we can say we will go to the only the this node. Suppose you are saying, sir, this is the closest node. So this node will provide the connection between this node only. Rest of the connection will not be, rest of node will not be connected. Same process will go into the iterative process, that's why it takes a lots of time. So this node what we have selected, this node is as our best matching unit, or that is known as the winning node. Okay, so that is known as the winning node, and we have the best matching unit. After this point, then the neighborhood is BMU is calculated, the amount of neighbors decrease over time, of course. Next, fifth point, just saying to us a closer to node to the BMU, and the repeat number step number two, repeat step number two for the n iteration. So suppose we have the 100 nodes. We keep in mind. Suppose we have the 100 nodes. The loop or the this process will go for the 100 time. Okay, 100 time process will go on. This is a step. So this is not an easy activity. It is takes lots of time to solve your problem. So that's why in a neural network, when try to solve any problem, it takes lots of time. So implementation of neural network is not an easy task. So the beauty and the word I'm saying over here, we try to calculate something in the neural network. So we have some range that is a 0 and 1. The value, the anything we are choosing from the neural network, in terms of the value, that should be 0 and 1 only. But if you're trying to focus on the value more than the 1, 2, and 3, and so on, so the competition will be complex. And that is the reason we have any value, people use any value for the competition for the neural network, only a range that is 0 and 1. That is the reason. And now this is the idea about the algorithm as we have discussed. So I have explained this algorithm by the example only rather than the unnecessary part. Okay. Now it is clear to all right now. Just tell me right now. This point is clear. The algorithm is clear because this algorithm is nothing. What we have discussed in theoretical portion, we have just written to the point wise, nothing else. Now tell me any doubt over here.
No, sir.
So patch matching method is basically technique. See, it is not a technique, it's fundamental concept we have to apply. So it is technique which calculate distance from each weight to the sample vector by running through all vectors, all weight vectors, and the weight with the shortest distance is the winner. Okay, it is written over here. The shortest distance will be the winner, and such node we are selecting as the winner node. Okay, and the distance will be calculated by the only the our beautiful formula as we have seen the kn means and knn, that is the equivalent distance. That is the reason. So how does the result dimensional reduction? So rather than the wasting your time, it is better idea to explain this concept. How does this result in dimensional reduction? So what the result we have? We have this result. This one. Okay. So how this result will reduce the dimensionality? So let me explain by the simple example in the mathematically. From this point, you can understand this concept in simple way. See, this is the input vector. Suppose we have this input. I is the input. And this node is connected by the two other nodes, one is n2 and n1. If I'm connecting by the I to the n2, so I am getting the distance that is 12 or something. And I is connected by the n1 directly with the help of the some distance that is 17. But there will be some distance between the n1 and n2, so we have 7. So from this portion, you can see which is the point I must take over here. If I'm representing this information in terms of the singular scalar, why I'm taking the singular scalar? Because I'm just representing my information to the 1 or 2 dimension only. So I can't take the multi-scalar values. I need to use only the singular scalar values. So if I need to represent this information, so those values can be written by the 7, 17, 12, what you want to use. But from this portion, from this scalar value, we can easily understand this 12 is the minimum distance. So we will choose this 12 distance. And if node 1 and node 2 want to communicate to something, then we will choose the 7. But if you need to communicate to the if you need to means if input features communicate to directly with the n1, so it can directly communicate to the 17. So the scalar values, so I will be communicate to the n2 and 1 directly without any doubt, and there will be connection between the n2 and n1. So this is a small portion we are taking. So as you can see over here, the force is the placement of the neurons together, and we have visualized them as a point on the two-dimension plot with some distance between each other, and that is the point we have to keep in mind. So how we are calculating distance? Distance will be calculated by the equivalent distance. So this entire connections between each and every information can be represented by the singular value, singular scalar value. So I have written over here 7, 17, 12, 7, 17, and 12. Okay, and this is the representation of the singular scalar information. We are not talking about the multiple scalar value. We are talking about the singular. Why I'm taking singular? Because our plotting will be done by the 2D manner only. That is a reason. So from this graph, you can say n1 and n2 directly communicate. See, there 100% guarantee n2 will communicate to the n2 communicate to the other node, n1 communicated to the other node. I communicate to the other nodes as well. So we need to keep in mind how many connections. We are just selecting only the shortest path, shortest, or we can say the closer distance value only. So we are selecting on the closer distance values only. Just now tell me any doubt over here. In this slide, you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So as a summary in a self-organizing map, see what we have discussed, and from this portion you can understand what we have discussed in the SOM, that is the self-organizing map. Self-organizing maybe saying to it is unsupervised learning. Just can we say it is unsupervised learning or supervised learning? Can you say it is supervised or unsupervised?
Unsupervised, sir.
So from this graph, just let me give you some idea about the why we can say unsupervised, because after choosing the random, we don't know what would be our closer node. Okay, so because we don't know, because we are following the unguided pattern, but we need to calculate some distance and that we can determine, because due to this pattern we can say we have the unsupervised learning. So by default the neural network enter come into the unsupervised learning approach. Okay, this is the point you are keeping in mind while learning the neural network. So by default neural network will be the part of the unsupervised learning model. So here the summary we have written over the unsupervised learning is on the rise and Cohen self-organizing map, and that is of course it's an extension. Why I'm saying it is extension or modification? Because it is totally inspired by the artificial neural network, and we are just understanding the we are understanding the this zone concept following by the ANN. So we can say it is the extension of the ANN or some modification of the ANN we are representing by the self-organizing map over here, and that is the applicable to the clustering and dimensional reduction. So because of our information we are representing in form of the clustering, and we are using the equivalent distance, but we are not using equivalent distance calculation anywhere in the neural network. But this is the place, this is the concept where we can do. And dimension reduction, of course, we can do, because by default neural network just provide the high complexity and it contains the huge list of the vectors, and that is known as sample vector. And from the this portion, from the that portion, we need to determine the what the value they are containing. So the beauty of the self-organizing map is to provide the information to the clustering manner and dimensional reduction. So not the clustering means not the exact clustering as we have seen the k-means, but it provides some of the cluster pattern only. And dimension reduction is the biggest reason we have to use a self-organizing map. But the other approaches, those are the PCA, there's the principal component analysis by which we can do. So dimension reduction can be reduced by the principal component analysis. The point you are required to keep in mind. So this architecture so far we have seen this architecture. What we are doing, we are transforming our n dimension information to the two dimension, but we are just discussing only on the one cluster. So it is just showing into the cluster pattern, and is easy to comprehend and extract insight from. Theoretically it is easy, but implementation is not easy. It takes lots of time to for implementation purpose. So we will not focus on that part. And if talking about its imaginary information, then with the help of the imaginary based information, I can tell you. See, this is the most important concept for the our class. So I'm just finding this lecture by the tailing to do all this point right now. See, here we have this map. You can see this is net kind of the information available. So each and every corner representing the some point. Okay, that is the point you are required to keep in mind. This is what the the blue colors blobs we are plotting over here. That is a we have. This is the what. This is the only information which are plotting by the our. This is a training data. Okay, this is our training data, and with help of the training data, what you want to do with help of the training data, you are selecting the one data, and that is the selected by the our white color disk. From the white color disk, you can see we have selected this data, and from randomly selected. And from this randomly selected data, we will try to focus the our work, and that is the point you need to keep in mind. And the node you are required to pick as a random node from the your entire network. So that is the we have selected by the this node, and which is to be highlighted by the yellow color. From this node, what is our objective? This is the point, the concept is saying to us you are required to make this data point to the our selected data point, and that should be close. That should be close or closer, we can say that should be closer to the data this. So you can see we are scratching by the image. I'm saying we are scratching, but it is not scratching. We are trying to trying to point out this point to the close to the this point. So other data points which are associated with the its network, they may be a little bit scratch, or we can say close to the this defined training data. And this process will go into the iterative process, and after that the all the data points what was the mention on the, what was the mention on the neural network, or these are the, I'm plotting like this one, will be covered by the, or will be handled by the our training data. So from the training data we can say that the data we are using that should be managed by the our important network. So that we have here over here. So this is a self-organized. So each and every data points of the network, or what we have decided. So all each and every node along towards the data, towards the training data point, are covering parallelly. And here we can say they are they are doing. They are self-organizing. So we are mapping the all the nodes towards the training data point. So I'm repeating once again what we are doing with the help of self-organizing map. We are mapping the training data or training sample towards the our neural network node, and training sample belong to the input features. So from this portion, you can see that we have the animated image. From this portion, we have the, this is our sample data, this is our training data, and this training data is scattered into the some different places, and it is just treated like as a cluster. And from this cluster, we need to connect our all the data points that belong to the neural network. So if they're associated, then you can observe over it, they are just moving towards the training data. They're moving towards the training data. You can see over here. And this is a functionality of the SEOM, that is self-organizing map, through the animated way. And you can see over here, so what we are doing, we are just following the training data, and we are following the training data as an input features. So our network is adjusting toward the input features. And that is a simple example. Now this example is clear to all? This example is clear to all?
Yes, sir.
And now about the applications we have already discussed, and this is the most important application. Please keep in mind this is only the one of the most important application. And from this application, suppose we have an image of the GIS, image of GIS. GIS stands for the graphical information system, and we have the white color, so that belongs to the eyes. Okay, we have the green, so we can say we are talking about the any kind of the place where we have the field. Okay, or any others. Okay, if we're talking about the brown color or some black color, so we can say there's some portion. Okay, suppose you are just seeing we have the some blue color. Okay, okay, the blue color just can be recognized by the, a little bit we can recognize by the, just like the river. So based on the color-based color features, we can identify the our information. But how this based on this input feature we have decided that is to be mapped with the, our neural network, or with the, our nodes we have in the any network, that is to be managed by the automatically. So implicit we have concept that is known as the self-organizing map. So self-organizing map basically a technical method, and that is required to have input feature, and without losing any input feature information, we are retaining our information as input features. We are adjusting all the input towards the, our nodes. So what we are doing, we're just trying to reduce the some dimensionality and to remove the some complexity of the network, our neural network, of course. So self-organizing map will be applicable there, and that is summary of the our part. Yes. And now tell me.